Remembering Tim Horton. Hi guys, how's it going? My name is AussieTash. Today, I'm going to be learning about the man behind the franchise, Tim Horton. I think I'm in for a bit of a sad and emotional journey today, so bear with me. Before we get into the video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. That would really help me out. Okay, remembering the man, Tim Horton.
What is the first thing that comes to mind when I mention Tim Hortons?
Tim Hortons, medium with milk and double chocolate donut.
All right, everyone has their favorites, right? Well, tonight we are going beyond the coffee and donuts to meet the man behind the famous chain.
Thanks for coming to Tim Hortons.
For many, it is a daily routine.
Can I get an extra large one of them, please?
A restaurant with its own culture and language.
Medium double and a medium black.
Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop.
I love my Tim Hortons.
Thousands drink the coffee every day. But what do you know about the man behind the name?
Do you even know who this guy is? Do you know what he was and what he did?
I think anybody that is 45 and younger has no idea who Tim Horton, the hockey player, is.
Before the coffee and donuts, there was hockey.
Jimmy Horton at the blue line.
Born in Cochrane, Ontario in 1930, Tim Horton rose to fame as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 1950s and 60s.
Henri Richard gets a ride to the boards from Horton.
The 5'10" defenseman, Horton helped the Leafs to 4 Stanley Cup championships, earning.
Wow, so he was a hockey player back in the 50s and the 60s. I heard about him. I knew he was a hockey player, but I had no idea he was playing hockey way back then in the 50s and the 60s. This footage is real life. This is really, really cool. Toronto Maple Leafs, 3 Stanley Cups. That's awesome.
Superstar status along the way.
The guy was a walking legend.
Former NHL defenseman and Buffalo Sabres broadcaster Mike Robitaille watched Horton as a kid growing up in Canada.
Watch how strong and powerful he was and how he understood how to play the game, the techniques of the game, and he just became my idol.
An idol on the ice, Horton was also a successful businessman, creating several restaurants in Canada before opening his first donut shop in Hamilton, Ontario in 1964. Not long after, he would become a member of the Buffalo Sabres. Also on that team in 1972, a young Mike Robitaille, who was now being mentored by his childhood hero.
He was the leader, quiet leader. Anytime I played with Tim Horton, it was my best hockey. It was the best hockey I ever played in my whole life.
Wow, so Mike Robitaille was being mentored by his hero, Tim Horton. That's really, really cool. So Tim Horton left the Maple Leafs and went and played for an American NHL team in Buffalo? Okay.
Horton made an immediate impact in Buffalo, leading the Sabres to the team's first ever playoff appearance during the 1972-1973 season, while sharing his love of business with his teammates.
A few times I went in the car with him, and he said, let's look for some spots where it'd be a good place to put a donut shop. What a brilliant guy, you know, to think that far ahead. The only downside to Tim Horton for me was I didn't get enough time with him. We lost him too early.
It was the early morning of February 21st, 1974, when Horton was killed in a horrific single-car accident. Horton was driving back to Buffalo on the QEW when he lost control of his sports car in St. Catharines. Horton and the Sabres had played the Maple Leafs in Toronto only hours earlier.
My wife.
Okay, so he's already opened some Tim Hortons chains already, and he's played a game the night before, and he's in a car accident, and he's just gone. Just, oh wow.
Told me in the morning, I think very early, and I know I punched the wall. I was actually mad at him. It's like, at this time in my life, and you mean so much to me, how could you do something like that? You know, how could you be going so fast and all that?
His death is a loss to the game which he graced for over 4 decades. It is much more of a loss to his wife and 4 beautiful daughters, and to the thousands of friends he made during his lifetime.
We had a game the next day, and a lot of us, I know I didn't, I hardly get through the game. I couldn't stop crying. I was so upset. You walk into a dressing room, and all of a sudden you're looking at that stall, and it's empty.
I thought I was going to be learning about coffee and donuts and everything. I had no idea that I was going to be in for such an emotional ride here. Oh, isn't it a bit sad how his friend was mad at him? Like, how dare you do this to me? How dare you go and get yourself killed in a car accident? when you meant the world to me.
At the time of his death, Horton co-owned approximately 40 donut shops in Canada. The first location in the U.S. opened in Western New York, 10 years later on Niagara Falls Boulevard. As of 2014, Tim Hortons had grown to close to 4,600 restaurants, with perhaps the most unique location sitting at Harbor Center.
This is the only standalone store in their entire franchise that is dedicated to Tim Horton, the hockey player.
The one-of-a-kind store opened in 2014 in partnership with the Buffalo Sabres.
I think you can look on the walls and see a lot of different things about Tim that you don't see any other place. You don't even see it in the arena. He was a very special player, very special to our franchise. And
Tim Horton was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame posthumously in 1977. His number 2 was retired by the Sabres in 1996 and still hangs in the rafters at KeyBank Center.
Imagine, do I still think of him? How can you not think of him? If he is out of my mind in a given day or something, it soon comes back because you go by a Tim Hortons store.
Almost on every corner, right? We'd like to thank Mike Robitaille, Mike Gilbert, the Sabres, TSN, and Tim Hortons for their help on this piece. And according to the CBC, shortly after Horton's death, his business partner actually purchased full control of the company back in 1974.
Such an interesting story, and wow, that footage that you got from the 1970s was absolutely incredible, and amazing to see the hockey players all not wearing helmets, right?
It was wild to go into the archives and dig some of this up. You know, Tim Horton played for 24 seasons in the NHL. Just last year was recognized as still one of the 100 greatest players in NHL history. Believe it or not, more than 40 years after his final game in the NHL.
Wow, Tim Hortons played in the NHL for 24 years. I've seen footage of some NHL games and it looks rough. Man, you've got to be one tough cookie to put your body through that for 24 seasons. Just back to Tim Horton, how devastating it would have been for his fans, his friends, his family. As an Australian, we love our sports stars. They are our national pride. Just last year, we lost one of our greats. We lost Shane Warne, one of our greatest cricketers of all time. Oh my gosh, I remember that day, 3rd of March, just last year. It broke my heart, absolutely broke my heart. I remember watching his state funeral on TV that night, bawling my eyes out. Our sports stars, we just love them, we respect them, and when stuff like this happens, man, it can rip us apart, can't it? Alright, so I've learned a little bit about the man. Stay tuned because I'm going to do a video on the first ever Tim Hortons store coming up soon. That was the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, leave a comment, smash the like button, and please remember to subscribe. That would help me out. Cheers from down under. Take care.